ICE is looking more and more like an American Gestapo.
They're huddled around the elevator banks in masks without identifying information. What a terrifying, like, these are Gestapo tactics.
But it has created this year, as they've seen, the kind of fascist ICE Gestapo militias go round up Latino American citizens in places like LA.
ICE agents, masked ICE Gestapo agents, getting more funding than any other law enforcement agency in the history of the United States.
ICE running Gestapo-like around our country.
The Gestapo had the same function. It was there to draw a distinction between us and them. It was not federally, it was controlled by the leader. And we're seeing disturbing similarities between this force and the Gestapo.
We've got these masked thug cowards kidnapping innocent people and sending them off to be slaves or tortured in other countries.
Dressing like thugs and acting like thugs.
People still want to come here despite the crazy. They still want to come here because they know in this land, their voice is protected. Their rights are protected. And there won't be jackbooted thugs coming in wearing masks over their face to take them off the streets. Oh, wait. I'm sorry, Simone, that's happening.
Oh, it's happening.
That's happening right now.
ICE, unmasked. What are you afraid of? What are you afraid of?
And I think that is the most disgusting thing. The very people who keep us safe ought to be honored and protected and praised by Democrats and Republicans alike. It is time to stop the rhetorical assault on law enforcement. Because here's what happens. Because here's what happens when Democrats like Gavin Newsom did say that these people are part of an authoritarian government. When the left-wing media lies about what they're doing, when they lie about who they're arresting, when they lie about the actual job of law enforcement, what they're doing is encouraging crazy people to go and commit violence. You don't have to agree with my immigration policies. You don't have to agree with Donald Trump's immigration policies. But if your political rhetoric encourages violence against our law enforcement, you can go straight to hell and you have no place in the political conversation of the United States of America. If you want to stop political violence, stop attacking our law enforcement as the Gestapo. If you want to stop political violence, stop telling your supporters that everybody who disagrees with you is a Nazi. If you want to stop political violence, look in the mirror. That's the way that we stop political violence in this country, and we've got to do it.
As you saw from the intro, I paid you the rhetoric of the Democratic Party calling ICE the Gestapo, whatever you want to say it. And I talk about how hyperbolic and how hysterical the left comes across. And it's getting to a point, I think, that Democrats are starting to realize that people are attributing a lot of this violent stuff to them. The Atlantic recently put out an article pretending to be neutral and claimed that left-wing terrorism is on the rise. You know it's bad when news outlets, news articles, news networks, or who are these newspapers are starting to, put some attention on this, because it's getting to a point where there's no out left. Now, some are trying to say, oh, the two people who died were illegals. This must prove that he wasn't left-wing. The guy could have been just a terrible shot. And it looked like, based on what I heard from the news outlets, is that he was showing the unmarked car was showing up inside the gates of ICE, and he just shot at the car. I don't think he was really aiming. He was just shooting, and then before they got to him, he took his own life. But this is the kind of rhetoric, and I like what J.D. Vance said out there. Hey, you shouldn't be part of the political discussion if you can't stop demonizing your political rivals, your political opposition. Only Democrats have this problem. And I always find it laughable when they try to bring the whole both sides argument. And I think this video, if you want to get a deeper idea about the both sides, I think this next segment is going to be very important.
Okay. And look, I think the bullet casings engraved with anti-ICE messages is a huge and key revelation in this case, because this is now the third instance of targeted violence where we're seeing that. Obviously, the Charlie Kirk assassination and the Luigi Mangione alleged killing of the United Healthcare CEO in New York being the others, and that suggests that there's a copycat phenomenon going on here. And the fact that they're investigating this as a potential act of targeted violence, I think we can conclude that ICE was targeted here based on that piece of evidence. That is extremely significant, and just cast this in a new light and suggest that this is the latest in a series of incidents that really underscore the problem that we are experiencing right now in this country with politically motivated violence. And you heard the Senator Ted Cruz there talking about dialing down the rhetoric. That is a perfectly reasonable thing to say, but this issue of immigration and what ICE is doing in communities is incredibly divisive, and it's hard to imagine really that people are going to stop feeling as strongly as they do about it. But we all need to be mindful of the fact that look, people are being attacked and killed as a result, perhaps, of some of this rhetoric. So those were my takeaways.
What I said. Anything worthy of that level of explosion.
Your rationalization of both sides, you have to understand, since Kurt's death, there is no both sides anymore, Jessica.
Why did the DOJ take down the study that showed how much right-wing extremism?
What study was that? Which one? The one in The Economist that was sponsored by a group run by a guy in Antifa? That study that has been discredited by the Federalists? You're walking down a really bad alley right now.
Federalist?
Yes. I actually did see, Jessica, I did the deep dive on that study. That study was authored by a project that was run by a guy who says he was an Antifa. That is why that whole thing has been scrubbed, okay? It's real simple. You label someone a fascist or a racist or a Nazi, it makes you free to attack them, and that has been the ideology from the start. It's weird.
So why
No. Let me talk.
Trump does it?
What?
Just tell me why it's okay when Donald Trump does it.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Great. I'm enjoying this.
Okay. You won't be for long. The left calls Trump a hate monger. They have called me a hate monger because I ridicule the left. I ridicule protesters. I ridicule academia, Hollywood, the news media. I make fun of The View every day. I make fun of the UN. Guess what? No one acts on the things that I say because my side doesn't do that. We say people are stupid, we say people are wrong, but we don't say they're evil. That is your game, okay? And then you come and you say, okay, man, this is a mentally ill loner. Well, who do you think does this stuff? It's not Ben Affleck. It's not Tom Brady. It's not even Carrot Top. People who do this stuff are always that way. The question is, who points them in that direction? Why pick ICE? Why pick Kirk? Why target TV stations and put bombs under Fox trucks? Huh? Why vandalize memorials? Why kill kids in Catholic schools? Two things can be true. A person can be mentally ill, and you can be guiding him to that place in his life. That is how brainwashing works.
Gutfeld going off. And it's exactly what he says. I mock the left, right? I call, Mondamis, moron, Zoran, moron. I always mix up the name, right? I'm mocking him. But I'm not outright saying, hey, he should die. No one's saying that. But what the left say? Oh, I hope Tim Pool dies, right? Wrong Trump, right? But why you miss? You had one job. These are hashtags that was trending on left-wing X, left-wing Twitter, left-wing social media. There is no excuse for Democrats to continue with the hyperbolic and inflammatory rhetoric. And that is true. And J.D. Vance went out their throat. Like, if you like J.D. Vance, he got a good chance of being the 48th president, man. I think he really understood the assignment, in my view, because conservatives ain't backing down with this. Conservatives are not backing down from this, right? Here's a tweet from two big creators, right? Ed Kazanshtein, our favorite liberal here, who writes anti-ICE on a bullet just before shooting 3 immigrants being detained by ICE. Suddenly, those who never trust the FBI suddenly is convinced by this. Now they want to go down the conspiratorial rabbit hole to escape accountability, or even the idea that stuff that they say, the Democrats' rhetoric, liberals' rhetoric on ICE, could have been any attributions to this man directing his rage, his resentment, or his mental health illness at ICE. What if you want a liberal to move away from you? If you want a liberal to move away from a position, try to make him take accountability. They'll move real quick. Real quick. And this is the mental gymnastics they have to do. Oh my God, BS Now is now saying that white supremacy is the inspiration for the suspect this morning. You can't make this up. Us making all kinds of assumptions, and I believe they made that claim before the bullet cases were found. But this is the left. Any way to excuse themselves of any kind of accountability, because they can't, like I said, liberals love optics. They love to look like the good guys when everything they do is bad. And not everything they do, but in a misguided way, they do things that hurt themselves, the country, and they don't see it. This is the self-centered politics that I talk about the Democratic Party for. But I digress. I think I want to play this clip on CNN, and we'll get my live commentary throughout the video. So let's take a look.
News this morning, we're hearing reports of a shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas. We happen to have with us the acting director of ICE, U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, Todd Lyons. Director, thank you for being here. I want to say, you were coming in, we were talking to you anyway. Obviously, this event has sort of subsumed what we were going to discuss. What can you tell us about this incident in Dallas?
Yeah, literally, as I was coming here, we were notified that there were shots fired at our Dallas field office. Right now, preliminary information is a possible sniper. We have 3 individuals that are down at this time. We're not sure on their condition. They've been taken to the hospital. We're hearing some reports that the shooter may be down from the Texas Department of Public Safety. The scene's secure. Obviously right now, my hearts and prayers are going out to my officers and agents. That's my biggest concern, and as well as everyone in that area. But this just shows the violence that's being increased against ICE officers and agents. This is the second time now we've had a shooting at one of.
And I think one of the reasons why I think we're seeing a lot of copycat assassins is the fact that people can see that they know there's a subset of Americans, subset of people out there that's celebrating this stuff. And this is why I will push back. Many conservatives will push back. I've been pushing back on this idea that it's both sides for a long time. If you look early in my channel, maybe I'll put it as a recommended video for this one. But a while ago, I think maybe last year, I made a video about how most political violence come from the left. And I got a lot of heat from the left on that video. And I'm proven right time and time and time again. Because a lot of the rhetoric that they push, they convince a lot of these mentally ill people. And look, liberals, you guys have higher rates of mental illness, self-reported mental illness. You guys outwardly express that on surveys. You're most likely to be on antidepressants, drugs. Y'all less satisfied with your lives, right? In Canada, y'all more likely to euthanize yourself, right? The left does this. The liberal have a mental illness problem. You guys have a larger percentage of your people in your political ranks that have mental illness. So when you say, oh, a mentally ill person did that, well, based on statistics, based on probability from every available data point, he's likely to be a liberal, likely to be on the left. And this is why it's not enough to just say, oh, because the left, with their rhetoric, they play this very passive, aggressive kind of game where they go, oh my God, you're such an evil person. I want to feel sad for you if someone shoots you right now. This is the kind of game they play. And this permissiveness, and this is why I was getting on Destiny rhetoric specifically, is because commentary like that, these copycat assassins know that there's going to be someone out there advocating and saying the conservatives got what they deserve. And for that, they want to be made famous. And I think Luigi Melioni, he was the main person that really, I think, in my eyes, sparked this. Because that was the first occurrence. We started seeing people justify, defend the actions of a killer. Is anyone on the right doing that? Did anyone on the right celebrate any political violence that happened to the Minnesota lawmakers? No. And still, the left doesn't recognize the problem that conservatives are pointing out. That no one on the right is celebrating political violence for the most part. Maybe a leftist will find me one video of someone who claimed to be right-wing, right? And they're trying to do this. They're trying to obfuscate. But all the targets, all the political assailants, all the politicized violent targets, all the targets of political violence has so far been directed at the right. And you're supposed to sit here and pretend that majority of Americans are just going to side with you, Democrat, and believe it was right-wing terrorism. Make it make sense. I digress.
Of our facilities in the Dallas area, and really, it's just a sad time that we have to worry about violence against law enforcement.
So you're hearing, the reports you're hearing at this point are coming from inside your offices in Dallas at ICE. You're hearing directly from them?
Yeah, we're hearing directly from the leadership on the ground there. The building is on lockdown, building secure. Initial reports are that our offices are accounted for, but there are 3 individuals that are shot.
Are the 3 individuals ICE employees?
We're still working on that right now. Obviously, it's really chaotic. Dallas Police Department's been great. They're on scene. It's a large police presence there right now. It could be employees, it could be civilians that were visiting facility, it could be detainees. At this point, we're still working through that. We do know that 3 have definitely been shot. They're en route to the hospital right now. We had great support from locals on the ground that are helping us look for the active shooter. And like I said, right before I just walked on set, I got word that the shooter is down from a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
Okay, so it may not be an active shooter situation anymore. You said a possible sniper. Did this individual get inside the facility or were all the shots outside?
From a preliminary reports, it looks like shots came from outside.
And the victims,
into our secure facility.
And the victims were also outside, or were the victims inside?
Inside our Sally Port area where we have our secure detainee location, inside that location. But again, everything's still coming in so fast. It's just been a morning.
So I think you guys got a good enough idea of like how things went down in the initial reports, right? And I want to play this this last clip here of a Texas official really hammering at the rhetoric of the Democratic Party, because at the end of the day, J.D. Vance, as well as the Republicans, are really going at Democrats' neck on this one. Because the Democrats, just like Jimmy Kimmel, don't want to apologize, don't want to take any accountability, don't want to take any blame on this, right? They want to spread the blame around or pretend that they have nothing to do with this situation. And that's a problem I think many Americans are starting to realize about the Democratic Party. And this is one of the reasons why I think they can never have effective governance. Because when you talk about, or when I point out Democrats' bad outcome, people just make excuses for it. And I talk about this a lot. A lot of people who are comfortable voting Democrat year after year after year, they rather fail in Democratic leadership than succeed in Republican leadership. Because this is political tribalism. And Jimmy Kimmel, the fact that he didn't want to apologize for his comments, right? Oh, it was so brave what Erica Kirk did. It always brings me to tears. Did everything. Jimmy Kimmel did everything but apologize. And that's a lot of posturing and a lot of the position of the left. And this is one of the reasons why I say, as an American, I plead with my other Americans, regardless of your political affiliations or regardless of what you fall on the political spectrum. I believe that for the Democrats to really feel the sentiment and the consequences of the rhetoric, to really take the criticism seriously, they have to lose power substantially. That's why I'm very focused on 2026, because that's the only way the criticism, the critiques will finally land, when they actually start losing power over it.
Good morning. My name is Joshua Johnson. I'm the acting field office director for ICE Dallas. I'll be brief with my comments, but I do want to start off by saying thank you to the Dallas Police Department, Dallas FBI, HSI, CBP, ATF, and virtually every law enforcement officer in North Texas for your support. This is the second time I've had to stand in front of you and talk about a shooter at one of my facilities, and I think that the takeaway from all of this is that the rhetoric has to stop. There are people out there who are seeing what is being placed online, and they're coming and they're doing acts of violence against ICE employees. So that's kind of all I have for today, is that it's just got to stop. It's dangerous, and people are losing their lives. Thank you.
Thank you all so much for coming. We really appreciate it.
Yeah. And Democrats don't want to take any accountability for this. All this political violence, you can talk about both sides, but it's always directed at the right. It's always directed at people who go against some far left ideological bent, right? Because people are celebrating this. People are running cover for it. And then Gavin Newsom has a goal to be like, ICE, What are you so afraid of? Like, this is what I'm talking about. Passive aggressive. Oh, they're authoritarian. They're pushing authoritarianism. Oh, they're the secret police. They're just taking up citizens out of nowhere. All this hyperbolic fear-mongering. If someone's not in their right state of mind, they'll believe you and be like, oh my God, look, the California governor is saying that the ICE agents are authoritarians. We can't let them take over the country. And they go out and do something. And then to make it worse, Democrats with their rhetoric attempts to gaslight you to do something where it'll make it easier for you to be targeted. Oh, why you got mask on? Oh, that's weird. That's strange. And this is why a lot of people, especially me, don't listen to Democrats. Because either they're blissfully ignorant about the current state of the country, or they're doing plausible deniability and they know what they're doing, but they just don't care anyway. Oh, well, I didn't mean it. I'm just finding it strange that ICE got mask on. You can't read the room. You don't see the current state of the country. Why you don't think the law enforcement people will be looking out for their own personal safety? And this is the Democrats for you, right? When something makes them look bad optically, they run and hide and try to pretend that a problem doesn't exist. Chicago with crime. Joe Biden and Kamala Harris with the border. Right? Liberals about the Biden economy. This is the game, and it just seems like, yo, Democrats are just, it feels like, for me anyway, that Democrats can't be honest because they know if they're honest, they'll look bad. And I think that's the worst thing for a Democrat is to look bad optically. So they'll double down, triple down, quadruple down on a narrative, on propaganda. And if they keep power, it's a success for them. And I think to break that, they have to lose the 2026 midterms very, 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 very badly. Some Democrats have to lose their seat. Some Democrats have to lose some power. Because it seems like that's the only thing they will respond to and actually turn course. Because I think the only way the Democrats actually become better is if they lose very badly. That's the only way I think they're going to look back and reflect on their rhetoric, on their approach, and on their messaging. Let me know your thoughts and perspective in the comment section below. I'll be interested to hear what you guys have to say. What do you thought of J.D. Vance's condemnation of the Democrats' rhetoric, and do you think he's right on this, wrong on this? I'd like to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Please share this video if it's so inclined. It really does help me out in the algorithm, and I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.